here with two authors who bring a very unique perspective to the process of innovation. Brad Szollose, author of Liquid Leadership, and Bryan Mattimore, the author of Idea Stormers. Gentlemen, could you each share a brief thumbnail about the perspective you come at from on the topic of innovation? What do you bring to the table of innovation?
Well, in our world, we help companies come up with new ideas, and we look at innovation broadly, really in almost two ways. One is we think of closer in ideas, and we actually help our companies do that. That's the blocking and tackling that you need every day to get the line extensions, the easier ideas. And then we also help companies come up with the, quote, disruptive innovations. And that's not easy, because not only can these innovations be disruptive to the marketplace, they're frankly disruptive to the organization. And it takes an enlightened leadership and a willingness to be disruptive, to offer disruptive innovations.
Okay. Brad, how about you?
My job is to find within a corporation where they have the hiccups between the generational divide. And a lot of companies that I work with, you will see the older and wiser baby boomer kind of dictating the same rules that they had from 1977 on a new generation that was raised to collaborate, raised to innovate, and has had hundreds of software updates since they were children. So they're operating in a very, very different paradigm and constantly looking for applications or apps, as they call them, to eliminate a particular job or maybe even make their job easier. So it's really about looking at the corporate culture and seeing if that's nurturing enough to bring the generations together.
Are there any unique challenges to this business environment that either put more or less pressure on innovators as they try to integrate, as they try to move change management within organizations?
Yeah, I mean, there's tremendous short-term economic performance pressure, ROI pressure, and so that tends to kill innovation, certainly disruptive innovation. The closer innovations, you can still do those, but we have found, frankly, a dearth of disruptive innovations as a result of the economic climate, which is paradoxical, because those disruptive innovations are the ones that can give you incredible ROIs.
Okay, right.
There's an old saying in business, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And we're finding, Bryan and I, in the work that we're doing together, you're finding that so much out there is not going to be measurable for a little while, but we're starting to see engagement from it. So that means there is a market there. And you need to incubate some of these ideas for a little while and give them traction. And I think the greatest resistance is a lot of times when a larger corporation or somebody's been entrenched with the value systems that have worked since the day they built their company from the ground up. And if it worked for my generation, why isn't it working for this generation? And we're here to tell you, look at the amount of innovation, the results, the technology that's come about in the last 5 years that did not exist 5 years ago.
Okay. What is the process behind selecting the right business partners? How do you look for those people who are of like mind, or those people who can help you achieve the kind of disruptive innovation that you've both talked about? What are the common ingredients, the chemistry, even as the two of you engage here at the World Innovation Forum? How do you know you have the right partner or the right advocate, the right person who can help you realize your disruptive dreams?
Well, in our case, we're an innovation agency, so we're constantly looking for partners that can help our clients innovate more successfully. And so there's social media components, their packaging components, their launch components, activation, PR, promotion. So we are constantly looking to partner with those institutions and entities that can help our clients do a better job of succeeding in innovation. And this is talent-driven. Yeah, we all have different processes. There's some science to our art, but it's tremendously talent-driven. So at the end of the day, we are looking for talent.
Okay.
I like what you said. There's science behind the art. That's a good one. And a lot of people are probably sitting there going, what did he just say? It really, for me, it's is there synergy there? And I know that's a buzzword that has been overused, but I like to look for people that have the complete opposite skill set of me. Because I can tell you Every single business, you name a business, I can tell you how it's being impacted by technology, generational changes, or behavioral influences that came from technology. And so it's probably the best thing in the world for me to run into Bryan and start working with him, because I can help his clients immensely, and he can help mine as well.
You know, and there is such talent out there in organizations. There's a tremendous talent available to the organization, and what's getting in the way in a lot of cases is the structure. And so that's what's attracted me about working with Brad, is that we might be able to get some of this newer talent, this naive points of view that's so wonderful and effective for creating truly disruptive things. That's what we're after, helping our clients recognize that talent. A lot of our clients say, hey, we got plenty of ideas. The hard thing is getting those ideas to market.
Okay.
You remember Fred Siebert? He was the original creative director for MTV, and then he went on to create Federator, which made all these cartoons. I Was a Teenage Robot is one of his most famous. He said, and I love this quote, Fred Siebert said, "My best advisors are under 30.
Okay. We've heard a lot about engaging customers and prospects in the process of innovation, but I'm wondering at the executive level, how your clients, how your teams select the voices to invest in and sort the voices that might become distractions or might be low value or might be leading you away from innovation. How do you sort the investments of resources and time and effort into the voices that support innovation versus those voices that would distract and push your focus away or in the wrong direction?
Yeah, it's a great question, because you want to make sure you're talking to the right people with the right ideas, what I'm really hearing you say. And in the work that we do a tremendous amount of both social media research and qualitative research, because we go back and forth to make sure we have the right product, the right message, the right benefits for the right people. And so the short answer is it's a tremendous amount of work.
Okay.
It is. During the dot-com boom of the 90s, I took the very first dot-com company public on NASDAQ. And one of the things that I started to notice was there were a lot of great ideas written on a cocktail napkin without a business plan or even a business model. So it's really, if you can look around for that creative individual that has a great idea that you could see needs the business plan, or somebody with a solid business idea that needs a little bit more oomph, a little bit more excitement in that. That's where Bryan comes in, where you punch it up a notch.
Okay. Okay. At the executive level, I think a lot of people would view innovation or the investments that are required to innovate as disruptive to their own life, their own career, their own schedule. Has innovation at this point become a mandate? Is there risk in terms of standing still, being static, and not innovating, choosing not to innovate? How risky is that in today's business landscape?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest risk is frankly lost opportunities. There's investment in new innovation, and that can be expensive, and you're going to have failure rates for sure, anywhere from 30 to 70 or 80 or 90% failure rate. So it's a tough game, and politically that's a tough game. But frankly, for the CEO and the strategists within the organization, those are relatively small expenditures relative to the bigger risks of losing huge opportunities in their marketplace. Okay. And that requires leadership. I mean, at the end of the day, innovation is not about speeches, it's not about posters on the walls, it's not about innovation rooms, it's about none of that. It's about the leadership to go take these ideas that you probably already have in-house and make them happen. And that's where the leadership is involved. And that's what's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
You have to have that environment where the leadership is okay with all these processes that are changing, this disruption that's taking place. And if you want to sit back on your laurels, I'm just going to recommend that you look up a couple of brands that boomers grew up with, and that is Polaroid, Spiegel's catalog, Columbia House. They did not keep pace with the changing climate, the changing structure, the changing technology, and most importantly, they didn't keep pace with the changing customer.
Any closing thoughts?
Let's see. A couple of thoughts. One is I do think that we talk about how hard innovation is, and it is, and it can be politically risky. To me, the bigger thought, I think, is that it's fun. And at the end of the day, I was doing some work with Con Ed, and I went around and I talked to like 20 of their different online guys out on the streets, and every single one of them said to me, the thing I'm most proud of is something I did that had never been done before. And so my message and thought, I mean, it's really, it's politically risky, but at the end of the day, it's also a heck of a lot of fun. And at the end of the life, you will be glad you did it.
Well, this ties into what Bryan said. They've done a lot of polls, and they've asked employees what they are proud of most or what they want most from a corporation. And almost everyone says, regardless of generation, they want to know that the company appreciates their contribution. It wasn't money. It wasn't a bonus or a gift. Appreciation was the number one answer of what they wanted. So you give them that, show appreciation, listen to that talent that you already have, whether it's at the bottom of the organization or mid-level or even at the top. Get that talent to tap in and engage and give you some of their ideas. I think it makes for a much more dynamic, exciting corporate experience. And I think it's going to transform companies in the future.
Terrific. Brad Szollose, Bryan Mattimore, thanks for your time and your perspective.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.